This is a quick introduction to searching APA PsycTEST, which is a database that provides access to commercially unpublished psychological tests, scales, surveys, and other types of assessments. They will typically be linked to a study published in an academic journal, but otherwise they're not widely available. To find PsycTEST through the library, it will be linked in a couple of different places like the Psychology Research Guide or possibly the Social Work Research Guide, but you can also search for it through our A to Z list, which is linked on the homepage in a couple of different places, but you can even search through it through the Quick Search Databases tab. Now, if you're off campus, you'll need to log in with your unique name and password, just like you do with other databases. I'm on campus, so I have easy access to, or immediate access to it. But it comes to a search page that looks really similar to any other search page you've seen, especially through the library. There are a couple of different ways to search. One way is to search by the name of the test, like by the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. Maybe this is something that, maybe it's a test that you found in an article, it's mentioned in that article and you want to find it, so you can do a search and then find, a couple different variations of it like this, hopefully. Another way to do a search, and we're actually going to stay on this advanced search page, is to go by keyword. So if you're looking for examples of measures that have been used, this is how you're probably going to do it. So in this case, I'm going to look for either stress scales or stress tests, and you'll see that Boolean kind of works in here. So I'm going to keep it pretty simple at first, and then we're going to go back and make this search a little bit better. But you can put in things like a date range, and there's some filters that you can use, that things like age group or methodology might be useful. But as with every database search, the more filters and kind of limits that you put on right at the get-go, the more specific it is, and if you use too many in combination, you might bring back few or no results. But let's just go with this initial search for a stress test or a stress scale and see what comes back. All right, so on the results page, we're going to see the title of the test. You'll see its authors, you'll DOI, which is really just a link back to this particular record. You also see the constructs listed, and the construct is basically what the test is supposed to measure. You can also see a short description of the test before you go into it. Notice that there might be several versions of a test. So this one, you'll see that we've got 2 different test versions coming back. You'll also notice that this is the Dutch version of the test. So there are multiple languages represented in this databases, and there really isn't a good filter to kind of filter out on the results page, but there's a way to get around it, and I'll show it to you in a little bit. All right, let's look at one of these records, and we're going to choose the Modified Perceived Stress Scale. Okay, so you'll definitely see that there's some basic information about the test, an acronym, other versions, what type of test this is. So again, if it's a revision or it's a brand new original one, the instrument type, what it's supposed to measure. So again, the construct, purpose, description. And if you scroll down here, you can even see more things. Typically there's going to be some sort of validity or reliability, maybe even like a factor analysis that's down here, who it's kind of aimed at, so definitely some other data about this. The one thing that you're going to have to pay really close attention to is the permissions. So not every test is published in this, so there's going to be information about the test and it's going to be quote-unquote indexed, but it's not going to be one that you can download right away. So in this case, you need to contact a corresponding author, and so there should be some information about getting a hold of any of these authors, and there's even an email down here that you can contact if you wanted to use this test or see it a little bit more. But let's actually go back and make the search a little bit better and find an available test. So I'm going to go back to my results, and then I'm going to edit my search. So one thing I mentioned earlier was to filter out by language. So I'm actually going to put English as another search term here, and then changing any field to language. There we go. So I'm going to eliminate, Dutch, Chinese, Romanian, Turkish, whatever else I was seeing there. And then I'm also going to click on test available. So this will make sure that I have immediate access to any of the tests that I am interested in using. Again, search again. And you'll see that we've gotten rid of a lot of those results that we didn't want to see. And we're actually only down to just under 200 results. So let's take a look at this first result. You'll see that you can download the test with the PDF right away, but maybe if you wanted to see a little bit more information about this particular test, you can also click into the record, and that download ability is right there as well. And you can still, see all the different information that you need to about this particular test. But let's go up and download the PDF, and you'll see that it downloads immediately. I don't have to log in or do anything else with it. Sometimes the test will be as nicely formatted as this one is, but not all of them. Sometimes it is just a list of questions, and then you can, put a Likert scale on or something on it. But this one's actually pretty nicely formatted. Okay. So that's doing a search, but there is another thing and another way to kind of access material through PsycTEST, and it's called browse. So in this case, I wanted browse tests and measures. And why I like this is because you can do it a couple different ways. Probably the most useful is by construct. So if I wanted to browse by construct, it brings back a whole bunch of different things and the number of tests that are associated with each of these constructs, okay? So I can even do a quick search. So say if I'm looking for measures related to anxiety, I can do a search here, and you can see that there is, one that's just anxiety in general, but there's anxiety and depression, anxiety cognitions, anxiety disclosure. And if I, expand this list, you'll see a bunch of different options that are all related to this construct. Okay. So to wrap up, there are a couple of different ways to kind of delve into this database and find the measures that you're looking for. So again, you don't have to recreate tests and surveys and measures, and also it gives you a fairly easy way to find permissions or ask for permissions for these tests as well, from really well-known ones to kind of more up-and-coming or ones that have only been used once or twice. As always, please ask a librarian if you need help with this database or any research questions.